Hello, all you film freaks and movie maniacs out there. My name is Nolan Carr, and I'd like to welcome you to the go-to podcast for all things cinema. But before you can ask any questions, just sit back, relax, as I present to you a Straw Lane Studio Productions Critiquing with Carr. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another great edition of the show here in Critiquing with Carr for Favorite Film Friday. As always, if you enjoyed episodes such as this one, do us a favor by subscribing on YouTube, following us on the audio platforms, clicking that thumbs up or like button so you can tell us you enjoy these episodes, turning on post notifications so you can stay up to date when episodes release on those platforms, as well as clicking at share out so you can help continue with the podcast with all your friends and family. Also, if you want other ways to stay up to date with the show, do us a favor by following us on Instagram at Critiquing with Carr. I say all that because on this week's very interesting edition of Favorite Film Friday, we're talking about a very interesting film, Your Name. And with that being said, let's begin. This film was directed, written, and edited by Makoto Shinkai. The movie was also co-produced by Koichiro Ito and Katsuhiro Taki. The cast for this very interesting film is as follows: Yunosuke Kamiki and Mone Kamishiharayashi. The cinematographer for this film was also Makoto Shinkai. The musical score for this film was done by Rad Whips. The production company for this film was done by Co-Mix Wave Films. This movie was distributed by Toho. This film was first released on July 3rd of 2016 at Anime Expo and internationally on August 26th of 2016 in Japan. The runtime for this movie was 107 minutes. The budget for this movie was 750 million yen, and the box office grand total for this movie was 400 million US dollars. The accolades for this movie are as follows. At the International Film Festival Catalonia Awards, the movie won for Best Animated Film. At the Los Angeles Film Critics Awards, the movie also won for Best Animated Film. And finally, last but not least, at the Japan Academy Film Prize Awards, Makoto Shinkai won for Best Screenplay and Rad Wimps for Best Music. And now it comes time for one of my two favorite parts, which is I list off the top 10 high school sing films for our year's release, being 2016's Your Name. Coming in 10th place at the bottom of this list was Suicide Squad. It was distributed by Warner Bros. Pictures. Its world gross was $749.2 million. It stars Will Smith, Jared Leto, and Margot Robbie. Coming in 9th place on this list was Deadpool. It was distributed by 20th Century Fox. Its world gross was $782 million. It stars Ryan Reynolds, Marina Barcran, and Ed Skrein. Coming in 8th on this list was Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. It was distributed by Warner Bros. Pictures. Its world gross was $814 million. It stars Eddie Redmayne, Catherine Waterston, and Dan Fogler. Coming in 7th on this list was Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. It was distributed by Warner Bros. Pictures. Its world gross was $874.4 million. It stars Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, and Amy Adams. Coming in 6th place on this list was The Secret Life of Pets. It was distributed by Universal Pictures. Its world gross was $885.3 million. It stars Louis C.K., Eric Stonestreet, and Kevin Hart. Coming in 5th place at the halfway mark on this list was The Jungle Book. It was distributed by Walt Disney Studios. Its world gross was $966.6 million. It stars Neil Sethi, Bill Murray, and Ben Kingsley. Coming in 4th place on this list was Zootopia. It was distributed by Walt Disney Studios. Its world gross was $1.025 billion. It stars Jennifer Goodwin, Jason Bateman, and Idris Elba. Coming in 3rd place with the bronze medal on this list was Finding Dory. It was distributed by Walt Disney Studios. Its world gross was $1.029 billion. It stars Ellen DeGeneres, Albert Brooks, and Hayden Rollins. Coming in 2nd place with the silver medal was Rogue One. It was distributed by Walt Disney Studios. Its world gross was $1.059 billion. It stars Felicity Jones, Diego Luna, and Ben Mendelsohn. And finally, coming in at number 1 with the gold medalist, the highest grossing film for 2016 was Captain America: Civil War. It was distributed by Walt Disney Studios. Its world gross was $1.155 billion. It stars Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., and Scarlett Johansson. And now for the moment you've all been waiting for, our review of 2016's Your Name. Makoto Shinkai's Your Name took the world by storm in 2016, becoming a massive international success with its breathtaking animation, emotional story, and unique take on love and fate. The film is widely considered one of the best animated films of the 21st century, but while I found Your Name to be an enjoyable and visually stunning film, it didn't quite resonate with me as deeply as I had hoped. From the very beginning, Your Name captures the viewer's attention with its vibrant animation and unforgettable opening sequence. The music in particular stands out. The intro music is a legit certified banger, even if I can't understand a single word being sung in Japanese. It's catchy and energetic, setting a tone that promises something special. The premise of Your Name is what really sets it apart from other films in the romantic fantasy genre. The story follows two high school students, Mitsuha Miyamizu and Taki Chibiana, who mysteriously begin switching bodies with each other. Mitsuha is a country girl living in the rural town of Itomori, while Taki is a city boy from Tokyo. At first, neither understands what's happening, but as they start communicating via messages and notes, they develop an understanding and begin to help each other with their daily lives. What I found particularly entertaining was how Taki and Mitsuha react when they swap bodies in public. Both are confused, embarrassed, and not entirely sure how to behave in their new forms, leading to some hilarious, awkward moments. As they learn to set ground rules for their body swaps, such as what each other should or shouldn't do, they begin to develop a unique friendship,
despite the physical and emotional challenges that come with inhabiting someone else's body. One of the most interesting subplots in Your Name revolves around Mitsuo's ability to help Taki win over his crush while in his body, something he can't seem to manage himself. This plays into the film's larger theme of fate and destiny, showing how the characters' lives are intertwined in unexpected and often humorous ways. While the body swapping aspect is fun and adds layers of lightheartedness, it's also what makes the film feel slightly repetitive at times. The early portion of the film takes a bit to build up momentum, and the body swap antics, while enjoyable, do begin to feel a bit drawn out by the second act. Even though the movie is engaging, I felt that it could have been 20 to 30 minutes shorter, particularly as it nears its conclusion without losing much of the emotional impact. The narrative picks up significantly when Taki embarks on a journey to find Mitsuo. After discovering the truth about the comet that destroyed her town, Itomori, Taki sets out to locate her, relying on a sketch of the village he's drawn. This sequence, where Taki, joined by his friends Miki, travels through rural Japan searching for the vanished town, is a standout moment. The anticipation of Taki's discovery, coupled with his growing desperation, makes for a tense and dramatic sequence. When Taki finally arrives at Itomori, he is met with the devastating truth: the town was destroyed by a comet 3 years earlier, and Mitsuo, along with much of her village, died in the disaster. This revelation shifts the film's tone from lighthearted and whimsical to tragic, and the stakes arise significantly. Despite all the film's strengths, I did find the final act of Your Name to be somewhat underwhelming. While the moment when Taki and Mitsuo finally meet in person on the steps of a Tokyo station is heartwarming and full of promise, the emotional payoff didn't hit me as hard as I was expecting. Perhaps it's because the film's slow build-up and the mystery surrounding their connection had led me to expect a more emotional charged conclusion. The ending is certainly satisfying in the sense that it completes the narrative arc and offers closure, but it lacks the emotional punch that you might expect from a story built around fate, memory, and connection. I think part of the reason it fell flat for me is that the resolution felt a bit too convenient. After all the emotional build-up, I was hoping for a more profound revelation or a more intense moment of recognition between the characters. In conclusion, Your Name is a beautifully animated film with a compelling premise and engaging characters. The animation, while not quite on the level of Studio Ghibli films, is still stunning and immersive, creating a world that feels both magical and grounded in reality. The film scores another highlight, adding emotional depth to many scenes. While I enjoyed the concept of body swapping and the comedic moments that came with it, I felt the pacing lagged in the second half. The film could have benefited from being slightly shorter, and I found that the final emotional payoff to be less impactful than I anticipated. Still, Your Name is a solid film, and it's easy to see why it's garnered such widespread praise. It's a beautiful expression of love, fate, and the connections that tie people together across time and space. That being said, I'm somewhat reasonably proud to give this movie, Your Name, a respectable score of 7 out of 10 on the Diamond Dave scale. And with that being said, my film freaks and cinephiles, as always, if you've enjoyed this week's edition of Favorite from Friday here in Critiquing with Carr, do us a favor by subscribing on YouTube, following us on the audio platforms, clicking the thumbs up or like button so you can tell us you enjoy these episodes, turning on post notifications so you can stay up to date when episodes release, as well as clicking share out so you can help continue to grow the podcast with your friends and family. Also, if you want other ways to stay up to date with the show, do us a favor by following us on Instagram at Critiquing with Carr. And with that being said, my film freaks and cinephiles, until next time, take care, and most importantly, happy viewing.